Hello and welcome everyone to yet another episode of the Reven Cast. I am Actual Dez, joined by a Panda Sniper,
Hello.
and today is we got some news, I guess you could say, but not like explosive or super impact. I wouldn't even say impactful. I don't know what to classify this as. We got news.
We got news, yeah.
we got news. But there's a couple little things we wanted to go over that we glossed over last episode. So we kind of mentioned the mini map last episode, but we didn't have any footage of it, so we couldn't really talk about it or show it. But here you can see in the footage in the top right that there's the mini map, and to me it looks a little different than the last time I looked at it. But granted, I honestly couldn't tell you. It just looks different to me.
I think it's the same. I mean, when I played with the minimap, the first time I played was the 2-lane map, and that was different. So I don't know if this one is like functionally different. But I'm trying to remember the last time I played with this map, but I think it's all the same. Um,
It is definitely covering the kill feed, as I'm noticing. It's
yes,
covering the
yeah,
kill feed.
that is known.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's known. I think the only changes, at least that I'm aware of, are possibly moving either the map or the kill feed. And I think the player, instead of being the little triangle, which of course you can't see now because you're dead, but instead of being the little triangle, there we go. On the minimap, it's gonna be like still your player icon, but instead of blue or red, it's gonna be white.
Okay.
Like, so kind of how it is now, but you're gonna see, like, if you're playing Marcus, you'll see Marcus in the same style as everyone else.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, so I'm fine with like where the map is. I do think the kill feed should be like moved
yeah,
either, I don't know, top left corner or like just underneath the map or something like that.
yeah. I think it's likely that the kill feed will either just get moved to the left, or the map will get moved to the left, and the kill feed will stay in the right. Like, um, and I also wonder if, because we have the map now, and overall the UI is getting simpler. Like, we removed the tower and crystal UI that was in the top middle. I
Mm-hmm.
wonder too if it's necessary to have all of the player icons with the level in the top middle, because you'll be able to see who's alive or dead if you just look at the map.
Uh
Um,
I'm I mean I think that's like a whole different discussion.
yeah,
Um
UI and
but I personally am still fine with like where the just like with the team HUD and everything is fine, like where they
yeah,
are personally. Um, I think it's also just because I'm so used to it, so I can just look up. It's like, oh, they're this level, and they got 4 seconds till they're up.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think in general, like, the UI, I'm pretty sure this is planned as well. Is gonna get like some sort of overhaul um, before 2024, when they go into whatever beta. I don't remember if it's closed or open or what they're calling it, but
yeah, whatever
I'm
they
pretty
have
sure
going.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it is getting some sort of overhaul.
Uh,
It's just not priority. So
yeah. So before we move on quickly, because just wanted to talk about the map briefly, I do want to bring up a couple things that Saltus is bringing up in Twitch chat. Which, by the way, those watching on YouTube, thank you for watching these on YouTube. I appreciate it. But also, if you want to just catch it live, you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/actualdez. Chill in. We stream a little bit earlier to make sure everyone gets in here. And if you want to be a part of it, then follow me on Twitch. But I do want to talk about Solthus's questions here, or question in chat. They ask, what would you think if it was zoomed in a bit and showed something like the quarter of the map around you, referencing the mini map? I think it would be more usable if it was zoomed in and didn't show the entire map. I'd rather have player icons in the tab menu.
okay, I
Go ahead.
real quick, I would also rather have player icons in the tab menu. Is kind of where I'm going with that. Um, but for the zoomed in part, I definitely want the whole map.
Yeah, I would say for the whole map, like just for the mini map, I think I just like having the whole map instead of just like where like your general area on the map, because Valorant has that where it's a setting you can toggle. Like you can have it either just be your general surroundings or the whole map. I prefer just to have the whole map because you pretty much have more information to go off of. Granted, it's a different game for Valorant because like as soon as
Yeah.
someone's spotted or something like util or whatever's used, you can see that on that section of the map. But that just gives you the information you may need. It's like, oh, freaking Reyna threw her eye over freaking attacker spawn or whatever.
the the biggest thing is that it is actually a, at least when I talked to, I think it was Mocha, I'm pretty sure it was Mocha. Sharpie might have also been on the call. But it was more that they want full map instead of putting it in the tab menu, because otherwise you're just gonna have players tab spam. Um, where like, and this is, it's just like not, it's not really an accessibility thing, it's more just a quality of life. It's like, I know that if I'm playing like this whole time when I'm running back as Marcus, if I don't have the minimap in the top right, which I'm probably just staring at when I'm not in combat, I'm just going to be holding tab or tab spamming, right, to make sure that I can get as much info as I can as quickly as I can. So it's just like, why, from a spectator and player perspective, that's more inconvenient than just showing the whole map.
Yeah,
Um,
I would
so
probably agree.
it's based off of MOBAs, you know, like they come from League of Legends. So, and in those games, the entire minimap is shown, so it
Yeah,
makes sense to.
yeah. But I mean, that's pretty much that about the mini map. We wanted to kind of talk about it a bit more because we just glossed over it last week.
Yeah.
We couldn't really talk about it because we just didn't have footage of it. But now that we do, we wanted to talk a bit more about it this week. But another small thing we wanted to talk about was that there's going to be possible additions to the stamina system for Reven Blade. From what we can tell, from what we've seen in the general chat of the Discord, is that there's possibly going to be like sprint attacks.
Yeah, Mocha said uh they were talking with other people, but the two things that were brought up was whether or not you could use abilities while dodging, which Mocha said he was open to changing because you can currently not do that. And
Correct.
then he said, and I quote, "We'll probably settle with just sprint attacks for now," um, indicating whether that was in response to dodge attacks. Um, so there's, wow, you really just kill
Yeah.
yourself off the map. That's,
Look, we
we'll
don't talk.
ignore that.
We don't talk about it.
um,
We don't talk about it.
but yeah, Flim in the Discord was asking about dodge attacks or jump attacks, and Mocha said we'll probably settle with just sprint attacks for now, which I know is something that Ravage Waffle has brought up multiple times. So there's still like, the stamina system is not finalized. There are still things that will be done.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'm not in huge favor of sprint attacks, but I was also not in huge favor of sprinting or dodging in general. But now I like it, so who am I to judge? But I don't think it takes anything away from the game. Like, I don't think adding sprint attacks is a negative in any way. I think it's only positive. It's just that, again, I'm very much a simplistic gamer where I like systems that are simple and still have high mastery. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I kind of agree that. I mean, while I don't think sprint attacks would just be a negative in any way, I just don't really think that they're really necessary. I think the game as a whole, like without sprint attacks, is just fine. Um, it it could be a good addition. You know, we don't really know until it's actually implemented and we get our hands on it. But I personally just think that it's just the game is fine without sprint attacks and could live without
yeah.
sprint attacks.
I
Personally.
think one thing that Ravage I know was talking about was that sprint attacks would be customized per character, and range characters probably wouldn't have them, so it'd be mainly a melee thing. But like, bulwark sprint attack would be different than assassin sprint attack, which would be different than warrior sprint attack, right? And I think that does add like character depth.
Hmm.
Um, so like, again, not super opposed, not super for, just would like to play with it and see if it
Yeah.
feels good or not.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I am with you 100% on that. Like, I don't think it could be a bad, I don't think it could be a bad thing, but also just don't think we need it. But, you know, who knows?
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, that's pretty much what we wanted to talk about in regards to that. Just sprint attacks possibly coming, just more additions to the stamina based gameplay, and just
hmm
overall gameplay of Reven Blade. Possible changes coming in the future. Um, but yeah. But with that, we now move on to the main topic of the episode for today is that Reven Blade now has bot matches. You can you can go to the training mode, and then in the menu there is a button that says Start AI Match. And as soon as you press that, you can select what bots, like what characters you want on your team. So far, I think only 5 of the characters
Yep.
are working. That would be Vivian, Ona, Kaizen, Bulwark, and Kaya.
Yep.
Which is why you see a lot of repetition in this gameplay of like the teams, and just me being the odd one out playing Marcus. But you would think it was a bot playing Marcus because I am god awful and rusty at playing Marcus. But yeah, there are bot matches now, so there's more that people can use with the game instead of just fiddling around in training mode. You now can just have an AI match to get more of an experience when
Yeah.
there's not playtests happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest impact that this has is that because you have to be a patron to, you don't have to be a patron, but you're much more likely to get playtests if you are a patron. And because playtests are only run when there's actual things that need to be playtest, this just offers a way for casual players or people that are just checking out the game to play Reven Blade in a relatively decent setting. Obviously, this is Dez's footage of him playing, but I've also played around with it, and the bots are crazy good.
Dude, they're
They
freaking
are
cracked.
so good.
Like,
It is actually insane practice to just like, I think I played against the bots for 2 hours maybe playing Marcus. I played 2 full games. So I guess it would be less than that, more like an hour, hour and a half or something. And dude, they are crazy. It is really good practice to just run around and play the bots.
yeah, and again, kind of just pretty much echoing what I said earlier, is that it just is a good way for players to get their hands on and like test Reven Blade, see if it really is for them. Considering the fact that we've had a lot of people ask about, like in my comment section or in the community Discord.
General chat, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, "Hey, am I able to play this game? Is there a way that I can just like queue up or what have you?" And it was very disappointing and sad. We were like, "Yeah, unfortunately, it's only available for play tests and so on and so forth. But you can download
Yeah.
the game." And it felt kind of bad, but now you can play with bots, and we can you can direct people to download the game and still play the game with bots. And like Panda just said, these bots are fucking cracked.
Yeah.
Like,
And one thing that is kind of important to note is that it does run locally, so the multiplayer replication isn't implemented yet. So you can only run it on your system, and if you don't have a good PC, mainly a good CPU, then it can be kind of rough on your computer,
yeah,
because
a
it's
little bit.
local and not server side. But if
Yeah.
you do have a decent PC, then it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like I have footage. I have this footage, obviously, and then I recorded. I got probably about maybe 15 minutes worth of footage me playing Lotus, and I brought mention to this either before the stream started or like just after I started it. I played Lotus, and I had 4 Kaizens on my team against 5 Onas. I will never forget the sound of Kaizen's R&B ever again.
Yeah, just the little bubble sound exploding. Yeah,
Just like hearing that over and over, and just the tink tink of the freaking shurikens from Ona. God.
yeah. I mean, I remember I was playing Marcus when I did mine, and I got tank hooked, warrior stunned, warrior bubble, assassin heavy, all in like the space of like 2.5 seconds. I just couldn't play the game. Like I literally couldn't play the game, and then I immediately died. And I was like,
Yep.
dude, these bots are better than just like
Bots are better
95.
than me.
Yeah, like it is crazy. It is very, like, it's actually relatively accurate too to how the game plays. I mean, the bots don't focus shards at all, I don't think.
Yeah.
So if you are playing on like your team and all you do is collect shards, eventually you will get a level lead. Um And they also don't prioritize crystal enough depending on crystal health. Like I think the prioritization is the same if the crystal's at 100% versus if it's at 1%.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be kind of funky where they just don't dive the crystal. But like otherwise, it's like perfect. Like it's so good.
Like it
It's
is.
probably
Yeah, good.
it's probably one of the better additions to Reven Blade just because now you can play the game whenever you want.
Yeah, it's a bit more available than it was previously with the addition of bot matches. And two, like to what you were talking about just now, like well, I think that this is just really good. This is a good addition to the game, period. That's with some faults. It just feels like the bots will never help you finish the game. They
Yep.
see someone, they see red, and they will not stop until they're dead.
Yeah.
Like multiple times there have been moments where we cap tower, like they'll kind of sit on tower for a little bit and cap, and then they go towards crystal and just won't do anything. They'll just be like, I could attack crystal, or I could go attack that Vivian that just left spawn. I'm gonna go do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And again, they don't prioritize the shards, so if you want more experience, you pretty much need to play shard carrier yourself and get them, because the bots do not care.
Yeah. I mean, just lock fighter and take the free steam after capping a shard augment, and then just short
yes,
around.
yes, Kazstrat, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you pretty much need. I don't know how I died there. Just to bring
Yeah.
that
How
up.
did
Like
what?
he sat on the
Oh,
space above me.
Yeah, he landed on the thing above you, and the hitbox
Yeah,
must be like a sphere or something, so it still
yeah.
hit you.
Anyway,
That's unlucky.
yeah, but yeah. So they don't focus the shards. It pretty much needs to be your job if you want experience. And it can feel like the game, like the matches, just takes forever, just because it's primarily you that focuses the objectives while the bots are off killing each other,
Yeah.
or you if they see you first. But which, I mean, it's not necessarily a terrible thing, but it can feel bad. You know what I mean? Like if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
I think like one game I wasn't really tryharding because it was the first game I played. I wasn't really tryharding, right? I was just like running around with the bots. The second game I like tryhard. I was like, how fast can I beat the bots?
mhm.
And I think like the first game lasted pretty much until the end. Like I don't remember if we won or if the time ran out. I know I captured the first crystal, but I don't remember if we captured second or time ran out. But it was basically the full 30 minutes. The second game was still like 20 minutes, I think. Like it was still really long because it's basically just me playing Marcus, capping shards, capturing the point, and then pushing people away from the crystal, getting poke damage, but they're so good at diving that like it can just feel bad. Like I kill the mage and then I get like pressure on the crystal and then I get dove by tank warrior assassin and I immediately die. Like
Yeah,
it's been rough.
there are a couple times where I'm like trying to focus objective, but it's like just me or maybe another bot. Or I end up being a bot myself, and I just go, "They're low, get them!" Ah!
Yeah.
But primarily, like at some point, I was like, "Okay, we need to like focus objectives." And multiple times, especially last night, I unfortunately wasn't recording when I tested this, like last night or the other night. Is like there was a lot of back and forth, but needless back and forth. Like the game could have been over like several like centuries ago, but it never
Yeah.
ended. To that point, uh, the bot matches don't behave with proper overtime. And what I mean by that is that if you, I think it's, what is it now? If you capture the tower and like defeat, like destroy the next crystal, you win.
Yeah. So if it's neutral and you capture the like the crystals take damage over time, I'm pretty sure. In overtime. So it's like 1% every 2 seconds or something. And so when you capture the tower, the defenses go down, and then it's just first crystal to be destroyed. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
And I come to realize that it was still going back and forth with tower captures and destroying crystals and what have you. But it like the game wasn't ending; it was still going, and it said overtime at the top with the timer, and I was like, "Wait, this isn't over? What happened? What's
Yeah.
going on?" It was literally going back and forth with tower captures and all that stuff, and it just wasn't ending. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure like something like that could be fixed. It is in training mode, so like if you just if you go to train into training mode, not start a bot match, that's pretty much how it works. Is just it won't end because you're there in
Yeah.
training mode to fiddle with other things.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it is the fact that it's just the AI matches sharing, I guess.
Yeah, the same
mm,
client, quote
Yeah,
unquote. Yeah.
yeah, the same like server or what have you. So I'm sure that could be addressed, and that's not really like a deal breaker or anything,
Yeah. God forbid you get more practice, Des.
Yeah, God forbid that I die to bots like 10 times over, fuck me, right?
Bro, do you ace? Do you
Uh,
ace?
I get a late penta. I do kill bulwark here, but
Yeah.
it took me too long. But
Nice.
yeah, I am like just very rusty with Marcus. I also have not played Marcus with his changes until I played these bot matches here.
Oh, the shotgun change. What do you think of the shotgun changes? Then?
I think they're fine. Like when they initially dropped, all I did was like go into the training, and I just kind of ran around. I couldn't really properly test it, because it just didn't feel the same if I just used it on a still bot or what have you. But
Yeah.
I just like ran around, like fired it. The shotgun has increased fire rate, but I think the pellet spread is different.
Yeah. Oh my
But
god, excuse me.
you're fine. But yeah, dude, that owner like just for try to air combo me. Like
Yeah, no,
these bots are cracked.
the assassins are so aggressive. Like they will, if you're like less than half HP, they will dive you under the
Like
tower,
this
and they can
owner.
do perfect 180 dashes.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll like dash into you, 180 dash out of you, and it's
Yep.
just like so much damage.
Yeah.
For first impression on the 2 lane map, I think did we do that last week? I don't
that
remember.
we did give a first impressions
No,
of
we
the 2 lane map. That was like episode 2, but
the
there was another test on the 2 lane map. I think. I unfortunately was not there for that. I missed that
okay.
one.
So then I'm the only one.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm trying to think back. Um, it was good. We as a community that played it had some critiques, which I believe were in feedback and ideas. The main ones being that the map is the general idea of 2 lanes is very good. Like it opens up a lot of macro opportunities for split pushing, ganks, and just like you actually need general map control to play, which Royal Gardens is quite a linear map. The 2 lane map was very fun in that. The map was a bit too big. The general layout of it was confusing. And part of that has to do with the fact that there is no like there really wasn't very much color shading on the areas of the map, so everything just kind of looked like gray rectangles depending on where you went. So you would get lost pretty easy even with the mini map. And the there's like the whole underground area of the map where the boss is supposed to be, and it was pretty useless. It was pretty much there because if you were being chased, you could go there. Um, and otherwise, no one really went down there. It was really just like, oh, I'm being chased and I'm 5 HP. Let me dip down here because no one actually this exists and you can live for longer.
Yeah, the last
Um,
time I played on the 2 lane map, like highway was still a thing. You couldn't go
yeah,
underground at all because it was a death pit essentially.
yeah.
Um,
Highway being gone was great. Love that change.
I
Um,
mean, with the addition of sprinting, you don't need highway. Um, so like that's fine. That change is fine. I personally still liked highway, but then again, sprinting was added. There's no need for
yeah.
highway. So
I mean, Highway just made characters broken.
it made
And
Ona and
those,
Beckett,
yeah,
yeah, kind of godly on that map. I agree, but I don't know. I think it still had potential and could have been messed with still. But again, since sprinting and dodging that was added before sprinting and dodging was like considered, but now that
yeah.
it's here, there's no need for it. Just period.
The only other thing that really sucked about the map was that there's just multiple pits that you can fall into, and they're not telegraphed. So there's like I think there's 3 locations that you can fall into and die. Like you just fall out of the map, and then there's 3 or 4 locations that lead into like the underground area where the Pudgy King is. And that also just feels bad because you're running and then you just fall into a hole and you're like, where the fuck am I? Yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, like overall, totally in favor of the 2-lane map idea. I'm sure if you go to feedback and ideas and search for 2-lane, you'll see a lot of people's ideas and suggestions on it, including mine. And I know that Sharpie is aware of a lot of their critiques and is planning on releasing an update.
Yeah. I honestly just have no fresh impressions on the 2-lane map. Just because I missed out on that test. I just wasn't available at the time, so I feel bad that I missed it because I was looking forward to another test on the 2-lane map again. And so I'm sad I missed that one. Is Sharpie the best dev? I mean, some
No.
would say.
No.
Jesus,
Rev-
Jesus Christ.
Reven Dad. Reven Dad is the best dev. No one can change my mind.
I didn't realize there was a test after spitting.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a 2-lane. I remember that there was a 2-lane map test.
I think I have footage of it actually.
That's great. We could.
I'll probably have to send it to you. Let's see.
I was gonna say
Yeah, I do.
If we get like any more information or any more tests about the 2-lane map, then for sure that could definitely be used for next week. Provided we don't get any other news. But the bot matches, the addition of the bot matches is pretty much the news we got.
Yep.
And it's a great addition, 100%. Like I do think that this is something the game needed, and especially with it being like playtest only, giving players a way to experience the game offline while waiting for a playtest against bots that can put up a pretty good fight it's fantastic.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
And I mean that's pretty much it for today's episode, I believe. That not a lot really going on. We had the bot matches, and then we wanted to kind of touch on a couple
the other stuff. Yeah.
There were a couple other things, and the mini map we wanted to kind of talk a bit more about it since we didn't do it too much last episode. So we just wanted to kind of talk about it here. But yeah, that's today's episode. I don't think there's anything I have left to say. Do you have any thoughts or anything, Panda?
Nope. No, I don't.
Oh,
Pretty easy episode.
yeah, it's a pretty easy, pretty simple episode this time around. Which I mean, hey, that's not a bad thing sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be it for the Reven Cast. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching on YouTube or Twitch. I'll have the necessary links and everything if you're watching this on YouTube. And we will see you next time.
See ya.